All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's webinar. Before we get started, just a couple of those normal reminders. We will have time for questions at the end of the presentation. You can type those in by clicking the Q&A or chat section in the lower portion of your control panel. We'll be posting a recording of the webinar on our blog. The link for that will be shown at the end. And if you'd like a PDF copy of the presentation slides, there will be a link to download those on that same post as the recording. And if your question does not get answered today, or if you think of any others, please email our support inbox, which will be shown at the end as well. All right, what is on the agenda for today? Skin. Skin is something that we kind of pay attention to, but we don't really realize how much it does for us and how we can help keep it healthy in general. So today we're going to talk about why your skin is important and then what we can do in our daily routine to help keep it as healthy as possible. So pretty simple today. So first, why is our skin so important? Well, it plays many roles, as you can see on here. Some are obvious, some not so much. It's the body's largest organ, which we all learned in grade school as kind of a trick question, right? At least in my case, it was a trick question. Our skin acts as a natural barrier, both to hold things in, but also to hold things out, right? It helps prevent things like allergens and toxins from getting in. And it helps hold in things like water to help with hydration, things like that. Our skin helps with temperature regulation. It does this in a couple of ways. It dilates or constricts our blood vessels near the skin's surface, which helps control the transfer of heat in and out of the body. It also does this by sweat production that evaporates and cools the skin, those hot days. Next is the sense of touch. Our skin has many nerve endings that alert us to different textures and temperatures, right? If we didn't have our skin alerting us to a hot surface or something sharp, we'd be in pretty big trouble, right? And then of course, our skin can alert us to skin problems as well, health problems as well. So things like rashes, moles, discolorations can all point to a larger issue going on inside our bodies. So paying attention to the way your skin looks is a very important way to stay healthy as well. The skin also protects us from the sun, specifically UV radiation that comes from the sun. UV stands for ultraviolet radiation. So basically, a pigment in our skin known as melanin is produced in response to UV rays from the sun. Melanin absorbs the UV rays to protect our cells underneath from damage. This is what makes your skin darker when we are exposed to sunlight. Now, this is something that some, especially those with lighter skin, typically desire, right? That darkening of the skin. But we need to be really careful of too much exposure because it can lead to things like skin cancer, right? People over 50 and under 5 are typically more sensitive to UV rays, along with those with immune deficiencies and different chronic disease. Those with medium to dark complexions are generally less sensitive to UV rays, but damage can still be done. So everyone needs to be mindful of the sun. We'll touch on sun safety on the next slide. Along the same lines, but kind of on the reverse side of things, as our sun protecting us from harmful rays, is our skin also uses the sun to produce vitamin D. Now, vitamin D is extremely important for our health with many, many benefits like maintaining healthy bones, brain health. It is anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant, which means it fights all sorts of disease. We need the sun to produce vitamin D, so it's important to get that daily dose of outdoors because it benefits you physically and mentally. But again, we just need to find that balance of exposure, but being safe to our skin while doing so. The amount of time it takes to get the exposure needed to produce adequate vitamin D for our body depends on different things, right? Depends on the time of the year, depends on the latitude of where you are in relation to the sun, how covered your skin is. So for example, Miami in the summer with about 25% of your body not covered only took like 3 minutes in one research study. In Kansas City, it'd be about 8 to 10 minutes. So it just depends, right? But bottom line, you don't need a lot of time to get those vitamin D benefits. And then in the winter, obviously you need longer because you're typically more covered and the sun is further away, but your body also stores vitamin D for months, up to months at a time. So if you can get enough exposure on most days, it can help compensate for those days that you're not able to get out. So really on this slide, as you can see, the skin does so much for us. So what can we do to return that favor? Well, let's start with that sun again. Let's continue that conversation around this. So first is protecting yourself from those sun's rays. I already alluded to this with too much exposure to those UV rays, possibly leading to skin cancer. So here are some things to think about. First is shade. The Skin Cancer Foundation suggests finding as much shade as possible between the hours of 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. when the sun is at its peak typically. So really, it's just about giving yourself sun breaks in and out. It's just a good rule of thumb, right? And then sunscreen. Sunscreen is recommended for daily use, and many lotions, especially face lotions, have SPF built in. So definitely look for that. SPF stands for sun factor protection. 15 SPF or higher for normal daily use is the recommendation. For extended outdoor activity, or if you have a job that requires you outdoors most of the day, go with at least a 30 and make sure it's water resistant and broad spectrum, meaning that it protects against UVA and UVB radiation. Both types of those UV rays contribute to skin cancer. UVA rays are generally less intense, but they penetrate your skin more deeply. UVA is the main light used in tanning beds. It was once thought to be safer, but that's not the case. Both UVA, UVB are bad. We'll just leave it at that. We just want to avoid too much of both, okay? Now for sunscreen, the protocol is to apply 30 minutes before going outside, then reapply at least every 2 hours or after swimming or sweating a bunch. I know there are lots of conversations around quality of sunscreen and added chemicals, so do your research on ones that have the least amount of added chemicals, of course. I added actually this link to the Skin Cancer Foundation's recommended product site, so here you can kind of see what they recommend. Now, clothing choices can help tremendously in protecting your skin from the sun as well. You can get fabric that has UPF, ultraviolet protection factor. So like, for example, UPF of 50 blocks 98% of the sun's rays. Skin Cancer Foundation has a seal of approval that goes on any clothing that has a UPF of 30 or more. And then of course, hats are a great way to protect the sun from hitting your skin too much. Go ahead, rock those bucket hats and floppy hats. They're more than just a fashion statement, right? So really, you just want to make an effort to avoid getting sunburned as best as you can, okay? Sunburns make your skin age faster and are the leading cause in the majority of cases of many types of deadly skin cancer. Again, just to be clear, and I've got a couple questions already that have come in, there are great benefits to your health to getting outside, getting into that sunlight, but we just need to be smart. Pay attention to the timing. Wear sunscreen, cover up where you can. Yes, you may slightly lower the amount of vitamin D that you're getting with that sunscreen, with things like that. But as I said earlier, it doesn't take long to get what you need. So if you're in the sun, you're going to get exposure, right? No matter if you have sunscreen on, unless you're completely covered up head to toe, if you have exposed arms, legs, whatever it is, you're going to get that exposure and you're going to get that vitamin D. But we just need to be careful of how much, right? We just need to not get burned, for example. And like I said, 8 to 10 minutes in the middle of the country is plenty of time to get that vitamin D. So it's really just about that balance. Get outside, just don't be specifically exposed for too long at a time. All right. And then next tip, be sure you're checking your skin for any changes, right? Examine yourself at least once a month and see a dermatologist regularly. This is not just for any new changing moles or new moles to look for skin cancer, which is extremely important, by the way. But Any rashes, changes in color that you notice that don't go away in a timely manner, just pay attention, right? I'm not going to jump into what moles should look like, things like that, for example, but any changes that you see are something to pay attention to. Another big skin no-no in general is smoking. Smoking narrows blood vessels in that outer layer of our skin, which decreases blood flow, lowering oxygen levels, which depletes the skin of a lot of the nutrients it needs. It also contributes to wrinkles, makes skin paler, that type of thing. Smoking also actually increases your risk of squamous cell skin cancer. So lots of different cancers with smoking, but skin cancer is one of them as well. And then be gentle in the bathroom with your skin, right? Showering too much, we all want to be clean, but showering too much and with too hot of water removes some of those oils that the skin needs. Use as cool of a water as you can, go as short as you can, get yourself clean, get out of there, all right? And then avoid strong soaps in general. Mild cleansers with less or no scent if you can. This is just easier on your skin. Not to say you can't use some of those great smelling things, but in general, try to go with less scents, mild cleansers. And then just shave carefully so you don't harm your skin, cuts, things like that. You know, it's a barrier, right? So if we cut ourselves, we're just inviting a place for bacteria, those types of things to come in. So if you're shaving, just be careful, use shaving cream or lotion, shave in the direction of your hair, not against it. Just a couple tips with that. And then pat dry instead of rubbing yourself clean with your towel. So this just helps maintain moisture in our skin, making it healthier, making it thicker, making it a better barrier. And then moisturize with a lotion that fits your skin type. You know, some of us are oily, some of us are dry. There's so many different lotions on there. And then try to use one with an SPF, like I talked about. Similar to the sunscreen, that website, the skincancer.org has lotions and stuff as well on there as far as their recommendations. So just look for ones with the least amount of chemicals. Someone mentioned zinc. You know, it really is. It's hard to find, you know, some lotions and some things do have chemicals in them. So just do the best that you can, right? Talk to your dermatologist or doctor even for examples or recommendations as well. There's many out there. All right, so we talked about direct tips for your skin, right? Let's talk about other areas of health, and our healthy habits can affect our skin specifically too. I'm going to start with nutrition. Highly processed foods can cause what is called oxidative stress in our skin. Oxidative stress is when free radicals, which are just unstable atoms, basically, damage your cells, and are, in this case, our skin cells. Processed foods can also produce inflammation in our bodies. Inflammation can affect the skin specifically with different issues like rashes, itching, redness, things like that, right? Just not pleasant things. And then dehydration, not drinking enough water, can cause dry skin, which is not pleasant again and can lead to other issues again. It just, we want moisture, we want that hydration in our skin. It just helps it function better. So what types of foods are specifically good? I listed a whole bunch here. So healthy fats, fatty fish like salmon, mackerel, herring, tuna, those types of things. Those are the like top of the heap. Any type of fish is going to have healthy fats. Those are the highest ones, basically. Flaxseed, chia seed, nuts like almonds and walnuts, avocados are some examples of some good healthy fats. Healthy fats have omega-3 fatty acids, which help keep the skin moisturized and thick, and they also reduce inflammation, which we just talked about. There are some studies that point to omega-3s found in fish specifically helping our skin be less sensitive to those UV rays from the sun. Zinc is another important mineral for skin that is found in fish and walnuts. Zinc deficiency can lead to skin inflammation, lesions, and even delayed wound healing. Avocados also have vitamin E, which helps protect the skin from that oxidative damage I was talking about. Sunflower seeds have vitamin E as well, along with that zinc. Tomatoes have lycopene, which is an antioxidant that can help with just smoother skin in general. Vitamin C is great for the skin as well. So things like citrus fruits, strawberries, bell peppers, kiwi are some foods that have a good amount of vitamin C. Sweet potatoes, carrots, spinach, and oranges are good sources of beta carotene. Now, beta carotene is really interesting. It actually acts like a natural sunblock to your skin. It's an antioxidant that gets incorporated into your skin and can help prevent sunburn along with sunscreen, but it can prevent cell death and then dry, wrinkled skin as well. Really interesting stuff with that. Again, it's not typically enough to not use sunscreen with it, but if you're using that and you're eating some of those good foods, it can help give you kind of an extra natural barrier there too. Broccoli is a powerhouse when it comes to skin health. It's got zinc, vitamin C that we just mentioned, also has lutein, which is similar to beta carotene, helps protect your skin from oxidative damage. Another compound called sulforaphane is in broccoli, and it's possibly with some research has some anti-skin cancer effects, as well as neutralizing some of those free radicals that we talked about that processed foods can produce. So pile on that broccoli, everybody. And then finally, foods with polyphenols like green tea, coffee, grapes, dark chocolate, which is considered 70% or above with that cocoa content. Polyphenols are another antioxidant that can help lower inflammation and just help lower damage to your skin. So really, lots of great options on this list to start to incorporate into your diet that specifically help your skin, right? So add some to your grocery list, and then just eating well in general. I mean, you'll notice most of these are all of them, whole foods, natural options. Eating well in general, avoiding those processed foods, eating whole foods as much as you can help keep your skin and really the rest of your body healthy, right? All right, let's move on to exercise. How does exercise help your skin? First, helps blood flow, right? When we exercise, our circulation is increased and improved, and that benefit happens even when you stop exercising, as long as you're doing it regularly. That blood that's circulating better has nutrients and oxygen that helps the skin stay healthy. That increased blood flow also carries away waste from those cells. Things like toxins and free radicals that we've talked about a couple times already are carried away with that improved flow. So again, just health in general. When we get that blood flow going, it just helps everything. And then stress. We'll talk about how stress affects our skin in just a minute, but it does. And exercise is one of the best stress relievers out there. So huge advantage with stress. A couple things to note to prevent some issues with your skin when you are exercising. First is if you're exercising outside, use those same precautions we already talked about when it comes to sun safety, right? Wear sunscreen, protective clothing like hats to protect yourself from those UV rays. Also, skip the makeup. If you clog your pores before you start exercising, adding in sweat can just make things worse and can just clog those pores, asking for trouble there. Also, try to wash your face, wash your body off as well as you can after your workout if you've got time. If you have skin conditions like eczema, psoriasis, acne, be sure you're following doctor's advice to help prevent flare-ups with that. People who exercise regularly typically see improved symptoms with those types of conditions with exercise long-term, but right away, you could see a temporary flare-up. So just be mindful of that. Again, ask your doctor if you're looking to start an exercise routine, especially if it's a more cardio, more sweaty type exercise. So really any exercise is good exercise, right? I'm not giving examples of types of exercise today, but really get out, get moving, get sweaty, get those muscles working. That's going to help that blood flow. That's going to help decrease stress. So if you're in a great routine, fantastic, keep it up. If not, find something you enjoy doing, work it into your schedule when you can. Okay, let's go back to that stress conversation again. How does stress actually affect our skin? So stress causes a chemical response in your body that makes your skin more sensitive and reactive. So it causes your body to make hormones like cortisol, which tells your glands to make more oil. So this can lead to acne, other skin issues, things like that, right? Stress can also lead to a weakened immune system, which can lead to an imbalance of bacteria in your gut and also your skin. So this can lead to things like redness, rashes, those types of things again. Stress can also change proteins in your skin and can lead to wrinkles, which, again, it's not a health concern, but we want to prevent that as much as we can, or delay maybe. Stress can also, unfortunately, make skin conditions you already have worse. So things like psoriasis, rosacea, eczema, those types of things. If you're stressed, it can make those conditions worse. So basically, stress management needs to be a regular part of your life, right? For many, many reasons, but this is one of them with that skin health. So just take time, do things that you enjoy and that calm your body and your mind, right? This can be meditation, this can be breathing practices, it can be exercise, which we already know benefits our skin, right? Yoga and Tai Chi are examples of exercise that typically combine the physical and the mental side of health. So win-win with those. And then just simply taking time for you when and where you can. I get we're busy. That's most of our cultures is busy, busy, busy. Don't have time. You don't need a huge amount of time to do stress management, right? 5 minutes here and there, do some breathing, do a quick meditation, go for a nice walk. All of those things can do wonders with stress levels. Just do what you can. Your skin, the rest of your body, and your mind are going to thank you. All right. Okay, and then finally, sleep and skin. Sleep has so many restorative processes, and your skin health is one of them. So when you sleep, your body produces growth hormones, which helps muscles grow and they rebuild cells, including those skin cells. And if you don't sleep, we show increased signs of aging. We've all been there, right? You wake up after a terrible night's sleep, those bags under the eyes are prominent. We just, look pale. We just don't look great, right? Research has found that stress caused by sleep deprivation increases the signs of aging, things like fine lines in those bags. Again, not necessarily a huge health issue, but the looks of our skin are very important to us as well. And then just not sleeping can cause other issues, right? Decreased immune system, same type of things. And we just don't take care of ourselves, right? When we don't sleep, we typically don't have a huge motivation to exercise. We typically crave not so good foods. And that's a physical response. That's a physiological response built in. When we don't get enough sleep, our hormones change and we crave those bad foods. And then we just don't deal with stress as well either, right? Which all lead to issues with our skin, not exercising, eating poorly, not dealing with stress. We just talked about all of those things that cause issues with our skin. So this kind of rolls into all of those when we're not sleeping well. So really just try to practice good sleep hygiene as much as you can. So we want to strive to get 7 to 9 hours of sleep. Try to go to bed and wake up at the same time each night. If this is not possible, which I understand that it's not, have a calming routine that you can do to help get your body to sleep quicker whenever you're able to go to bed. This can include a quick meditation, taking a bath, reading, really anything that calms your mind that you have time for. If you're looking for more tips specifically on sleep, head to our blog, search for our sleep specific webinar. It was called Count Your Sheep. So definitely lots more in-depth stuff there because we just don't have time to go into all of that right now. So speaking of time, I'm actually on time today, which is great. We'll have plenty of time for questions. So, but just to summarize and wrap it up, our skin is a powerhouse, right? It does so much for us. And then just practicing healthy habits. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. As you can see, just being healthy in general helps keep your skin looking, functioning, feeling well for the rest of our lives, ideally. So pick one small habit to change today. Throw it up in the chat if you want to share one small thing that you can do today for your skin health that you can build on every day in the future. All right, we will get to questions here in just a second, but let me go into the next webinars. August is essential nutrients for your health. So we'll just talk about all the different nutrients that are out there in food, how they benefit you in general, and we'll have lots of good discussion with that. And then in September, secrets to a healthy life. So I really wanted to just gather best practices from around the world, from those healthiest people. And we're just going to talk about different tips. It shouldn't be anything too crazy and mind blowing, but it's going to be interesting to see what different people do. All right, you guys are throwing all of your good specific goals up there. Think about more specific ways that you can do. If you've got a goal, like more sleep, eat healthier, those types of things, break that down into a more specific action that you can do today or tomorrow or in this next week, okay? So just think about those things because we need specific direction when we're talking about goals. All right, if you do have lifestyle rewards for watching the webinars, that's fantastic. Some of you will just have to say that you watched the webinar. Some of you may have to answer some questions. So these are the questions that you will have to answer. It shouldn't be too difficult if you watch the webinar, but if you want to screenshot this quick, otherwise this will be on the PDF slides that you can download on that blog post that will be up within the next 24 hours. And then here's our contact information. We are on social media, and then that blog. This is where you're going to watch this webinar recording, any past webinars that you can find, and you can register for next month's webinar, next couple months, and then you can always reach out, right? I don't know how many questions that we've got coming in, but we'll answer what we can today. But if anything comes up, or if you have questions or just want to chat about any other health related topic, give us a call, shoot us an email. We would love to chat about anything that we can help you with.